Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Rux, I'm a Western tropical astrologer, and today we are going to be talking about the full moon in Pisces. This full moon is coming up on the 31st of August. It is a full moon that I really like. I'm very excited for this. I will explain why that is. The full moon is happening at 7 degrees 25 minutes of Pisces at 1:35 GMT time, so you can adjust that for your own time zone. If you have in your natal chart planets or angles around 7 degrees of mutable signs, the mutable signs are Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Gemini, you folks are likely to feel this full moon the most. If you have planets or angles, such as the ascendant or the midheaven, around 7 degrees of Taurus, Capricorn, Scorpio, or Cancer, you're probably going to really enjoy this full moon. It is a sweet full moon anyway. Why? I'm not going to keep you waiting for this answer. I'm not gonna hold on to the whole kind of like suspense thing any longer. Why do I like this full moon? Because Jupiter, which is what we call the dispositor of the full moon, is in a harmonious aspect to Mercury in Virgo. Mercury is going to be retrograde at the time. What does that tell us? It tells us that we are likely to see results at the time of this full moon that maybe we've been waiting for a long time, that maybe have been delayed, that maybe have been postponed, that maybe we lost hope about. We're likely to see some really auspicious outcomes, maybe also connected with us fixing something or repairing something or editing or tweaking something. When it comes to reevaluating, rewriting something, possibly. And the end result, I repeat, is probably something that we're very happy with, especially if it involves writing, communication, being of service to others, fixing something that required the use of both our intuition as well as our more kind of like rational, analytical side. I also recommend that you look back at what was going on in your life around the 20th of February this year, folks. Why? Because that's when we were experiencing the new moon in Pisces this year, and this full moon is likely to bring to a close, is likely to bring to a culminating point issues, circumstances, projects that were on your radar or that you kicked off around the 20th of February. Whatever seeds were planted around the 20th of February, we're probably going to see the fruit of at the time of this full moon. Before the full moon goes exact, the moon conjuncts Saturn in Pisces, so something is probably going to come to an end, or we might be aware of some sort of like limitation, but at the same time, it might almost feel like a relief that something is coming to an end. It might feel like a good thing, I dare say. The full moon is also applying to a harmonious aspect to Jupiter, the great benefic, the bringer of growth, expansion, opportunities, and good luck. And Jupiter in Taurus is a very stabilizing force, so I feel like whatever is culminating at the time of this full moon is probably going to lead to increased security and stability. At a collective level, what are we likely to see at the time of this full moon? Some sort of outcome, some sort of results, if we can call them results, when it comes to refugees, when it comes to those who are suffering. Maybe a certain type of suffering is coming to an end at a collective level. Maybe something that affected a wide community is coming to an end in some shape or form. We're likely to see some end results in relation to the oceans, matters connected with the oceans, potentially also drugs and medicine, because Pisces is a sign that is associated with medicine and drugs. We could also reach some sort of a culminating point when it comes to volunteering or charitable actions or organizations. I see this full moon as an indicator of the end of suffering on a certain front, the end of service on a certain front, so some sort of service coming to an end, especially selfless service, potentially charitable work. The spotlight is likely to be placed on charity work at the time of this full moon, on maybe saving and helping others. The spotlight may also be placed on the idea of forgiveness, of letting go, of surrendering something. We're likely to see help being offered to those who are suffering, maybe help in the form of food or homes or construction materials. I feel like a good motto or mantra for this full moon could be, sometimes it's good to let go and let God. And I think it's very it's very smart of us to recognize where we need to let God and where we need to take a bit of a step back. And this is obviously nothing religious that I'm proposing to you. It's spiritual. You could say. We can call, I don't know, God the source, or we can give God whatever name we want to give them. Ultimately, I am someone who believes in a higher power, and it's going to be completely up to you what it is that you decide to believe in. One set of questions maybe that I would recommend asking ourselves at the time of this full moon is the following. Where do we need to let go? Where is our work done? Where do we need to, in what sector of our lives, do we need to forgive something or someone? Where do we need to release something and just kind of like accept things the way that they are? Where do we need to help or to give help without expecting anything in return? And where do we need to ask a higher power for support, or where do we need to trust a higher power for support? Because sometimes, or let's say many times actually, life has a way of solving itself. So if you've been struggling with something for a long time, you might be pleasantly surprised to see an auspicious end result without you having to put any extra effort. This full moon is also a great time for rest, for sleep, for meditation, for recovery, for recuperation. It is a great time for healing. It is a very healing full moon, but only if we emphasize the Piscean energy. And the Piscean energy is an energy of surrender, of acceptance, of going with the flow. So maybe in order to heal at the time of this full moon, you just need to do nothing, or maybe just sleep or meditate, or something along those lines, or just kind of like listen to music. Calming music, that is. Now, before we go into the update for each of the 12 zodiac signs, I do want to remind you of something. It is my recommendation that you listen to the update for the rising sign. Why? Because I build these horoscopes, I build these general forecasts with the rising sign in mind, not the sun sign. But obviously, if you don't know your rising sign, you can listen to the update for your sun sign. If you want to work with me, you can find me on my website, which is writteninthestars-astrology.com. I work with clients one-to-one on a day-to-day basis. That is the bulk of my work. I am a full-time consulting astrologer. I do personal readings, natal chart interpretations, year-ahead forecasts, compatibility readings, astrocartography. So if you are a first-time client, you can go straight to my website, writteninthestars-astrology.com, to the services section, and you can go for the 1 hour, 15 minutes live Zoom consultation for any of the aforementioned services. So if you would like me to interpret your natal chart, if you would like us to dig into the year ahead to see how you can best prepare and align yourself with the opportunities, the cosmic tides. If you would like us, for instance, to dive into the compatibility between you and your partner, or maybe between you and a parent, for instance, or a friend, we can also do that. So basically, any astrological service that you're interested in, if you're a first-time client, you can go straight for the 1 hour 15 minutes live Zoom consultation. If you're an existing client, you have some additional options, such as the 30 minutes follow-up consultation if you have some very specific granular questions that you would like us to dig into, or the 1 hour year ahead forecast that has a preferential rate for existing clients, because alas, you are an existing client. So once again, written in the stars-astrology.com, that is my website. That is where you can find me. That is where you can purchase personal readings, personal consultations with me. That is also the place where you can purchase the natal chart interpretation masterclass. It's over 6 hours of material. It's a recorded course for astrology students, but for those of you who are not beginners, so for those of you who are intermediate students or more advanced students, for those of you who already have a basic grasp of the meaning of houses, signs, planets, and so on, you may want to purchase the Natal Chart Interpretation Masterclass if you want to take your interpretation of natal charts, obviously, to the next level. If you want to learn how to piece everything together, how to synthesize, how to find themes, how to bring everything in a coherent, bring every element of the natal chart in a coherent interpretation together, then that is a course for you. Another course that you can purchase from my website is the Saturn Transits Masterclass. How can you best prepare for these? What can you expect from them? Once again, these are more suitable for those of you who have a basic understanding of signs and planets and houses, so not necessarily for complete beginners. I offer examples. I dive into Saturn transiting each planet, the infamous Saturn return or returns, because if we're lucky, we're going to go through 3 Saturn returns in our life. So my website is the place where you can purchase both astrological readings, astrological consultations with me, as well as recorded courses for those of you who are students of astrology. And now, let us dive into the update for each of the 12 zodiac signs. And obviously, we're going to start with Aries. Of course, the one, the only, number one, Aries suns and Aries risings. So 31st of August, my lovely Aries, this full moon, which is active, by the way, 3 days before, 3 days after, is activating your axis of service, work, health. I feel like you are bringing some sort of work-related project to a close and you can finally relax. I feel like this could also be a time when some Aries may say goodbye to a job or to a certain way of working, or you could say goodbye to a team member at work. Now, if you are saying goodbye to a team member, or if you are saying goodbye to a job, I would not be very sad about it. I definitely wouldn't. Why? Because if you're leaving a job, you're probably going somewhere where you're getting paid much better. This could also be a time where you finally get that raise that you were hoping for, that you were fighting for, that you kind of like pushed for, or you could finally be getting news connected with something that you've been waiting for a long time, work-wise. Maybe positive feedback, maybe news about again, salary, maybe news about an important deal, an important client. And as you're getting news of this, you could feel like you can finally take some time off and relax. It is a great time to take time off. It is a great time to go on holiday. It is a great time to relax, to get away from the world, because the work has been done, if you ask me. It's also a really, really, really good time to prioritize your mental health. And again, if you need to escape from the world, you shouldn't worry about your work. You shouldn't worry about clients. You shouldn't worry about your colleagues, because they're going to be just fine. If anything, they're going to be great, and you deserve to take some time off. Also, a health-related crisis is probably going to come to an end around this time. If you have been dealing with anything health-wise, my big recommendation is to make sure that you get plenty of rest, and that you also have faith in the fact that there's someone out there watching over you when it comes to your health, my dear Aries, because it looks like this is the case. Taurus suns and Taurus risings. 31st of August, full moon in Pisces. This one activates your 11th house, 5th house axis. So the axis of long-term goals and friends, as well as passions, hobbies, fun, and creative endeavors. I do recommend looking back at what you were doing around the 20th of February, Taurians, in collaboration with a group of people, maybe what was going on in your life in terms of friends, groups, organizations that you're a part of, because at the time of this full moon, you could see the results of something, of some sort of like work or creative project that you were involved in with a group of friends, maybe in February earlier this year. This could be a time when you see a dream coming to fruition, my dear Taurians. I like it. I really, really like it. It feels like a dream come true. Maybe it's a time of celebration together with your friends, together with a group of people. You could be celebrating maybe a little bit later than you thought you would, but nevertheless, what do they say? Better late than never. This could also be a time when, if you have kids, or if you were waiting on some sort of news connected with children, you're probably going to get some really, really positive news, really auspicious news, and now you can breathe easily, and you can go and have fun and enjoy life and plan a holiday, and so on. You could also be having some really significant conversations, some really important conversations that fill you up on an emotional level with a friend, and you could feel very loved and very lucky. I feel like this can also be a time when you go out into the world and maybe you connect with your friends in the company of a loved one, in the company of your romantic partner. Maybe you introduce your romantic partner to the outside world, which is very, very possible as well. If you have something to present to a wider group of people, it's probably going to go very well, my dear Taurians. So have faith, go out there, shine, and then you can put this behind you because you've worked really hard to accomplish whatever it is that you are presenting to the outside world. My dear Geminis, Gemini suns and Gemini risings, what does this full moon look like for you? Well, I'm going to put it out there. It feels like you're seeing some sort of concrete, tangible, auspicious results career-wise. You've worked very hard on the professional front. The spotlight is being placed on your professional life. Have a think about what was going on career-wise for you around the 20th of February, because this full moon can bring to a close, can bring to a culminating point, something that came to your attention professionally around the 20th of February. If you were waiting to hear news about a promotion, if you were waiting to hear news as to whether you've been accepted for a higher position, the news is probably going to reach you. Yes, it could be a piece of news that was delayed in some shape or form, so maybe you were waiting for it a while ago, but the news is great. You are feeling excited. You probably didn't even see this coming in a way. I almost see you kind of like having taken your mind off of it, and you're like, whatever happens, happens. Whenever it happens, it happens. And now it feels like, oh wow, like there's someone out there like taking care of me, like watching my back and supporting me. This could also be a time when you say goodbye to a boss. And if you are saying goodbye to a boss, or if you are saying goodbye to a figure of authority in your professional life, it could be because the boss is either leaving, or you are likely to spend more time prioritizing maybe your family life which is very much your right. This could also be a time when you hear very good news connected with the healing of a parent. So if a parent has been going through a more challenging time health-wise, now it could feel like you can finally breathe easily because they are in a much better place. They're feeling better. They're kind of like resting, and they're taking care of themselves, and it just feels like you no longer need to worry about them, if that makes sense. My dear Cancerians, Cancer Suns, and Cancer Risings, 31st of August, full moon in Pisces, one of my favorite astrological events of August. Yes. So what's going on? This full moon activates your axis of traveling. You could literally be traveling around the time of this full moon, 3 days before, 3 days after, my dear Cancerians. Or you could be making plans to travel, or you could be buying tickets. But in any case, it feels like it's something that has been in the making for quite some time, or something that you've planned around February, or that you started planning around February. This could feel like a time when you are getting some really good news connected with your studies, your education, or connected with visas, foreign lands, foreign countries, residency, foreign residency, and so on. And you can finally make plans for the future as a result of this. And you can also maybe tell your friends and celebrate together with them. Some of you could receive news that you've been accepted for like a prestigious, I don't know, like academic program. It really seems to put you on track for accomplishing one of your longer term goals, something that you have been dreaming of, my dear Cancerians. This can also be a time when you travel together with friends, or when you travel to meet friends, and maybe it's a trip that has been in the making for quite some time, or maybe it's a trip that has been postponed, but now it is finally happening, and you could not be more excited. I see your social life being on fire. I see your mind being all kind of like lit up. This could also be the time when you have a little bit of an aha moment, like an epiphany of some sorts, when it comes to the big picture of your life, and when it comes to where you need to be headed in terms of plans for the future, and what that entails maybe from an educational perspective. For those of you who are married, this full moon can also bring some good news connected with in-laws. And once again, maybe there's kind of like a reason for celebration as a result. Leo Suns and Leo Risings, 31st of August, 3 days before, 3 days after. This full moon is activating your financial axis. Okay. Leos, you are getting rid of debt. You are paying stuff off very likely, or you are receiving some really auspicious news when it comes to investments, mortgages, or your partner's resources. Money and finances is kind of like front and center of your mind at the time of this full moon, but I feel like you are solving something financially that has been on your radar for quite some time. Maybe it was something that you were hoping to solve a while ago, and now you're finally solving it. If you are waiting to hear news about your mortgage being accepted, good news, very likely. You could be getting news about a bonus, or potentially maybe even receiving a bonus. The same could happen for your partner if you are in a relationship. I feel like you're getting some sort of relief when it comes to finances around this time. And I'm very excited about this. This could also be a time potentially when you feel like a crisis is over career-wise, maybe because you know that someone very powerful has your back, or because you receive reassurance that you're doing a very good job and that your talents are being appreciated. Even if you maybe had some doubts around this previously. Virgo Suns and Virgo Risings, this full moon on the 31st of August, 3 days before, 3 days after, is activating your relationship axis. The spotlight is being placed on your partner. It feels like there's some really auspicious developments unfolding in your partner's life. For those of you who are in a relationship, it could be something connected with your partner's studies. It could be something connected with your partner's maybe visa or passport. It could be something connected with your partner's educational path. And it really feels like this is a major accomplishment for your partner. This could also be a time when you are on the same page with a partner when it comes to a travel-related matter, a legal matter, or a matter connected with foreign lands and foreign countries. You could be traveling with a partner, and if you are, you're probably having a really good time. You might also feel like you're finally understanding a partner's point of view, and they are understanding yours, and it feels like this is something that you've been aspiring towards for quite some time, but now is the time when it is finally happening. I feel like you're in agreement with a partner around maybe some sort of a philosophical matter, or a matter that requires you to kind of like discuss about the big picture of both of your lives. For those of you who are single, this can be a time when you connect with someone who has the possibility to become a long-term partner. It can very well be something that someone that you know already. So someone who you've been in contact with, someone who you met before, but now it finally feels like there's kind of like sparks. There's sparks flying. For those of you who have no interest in relationships whatsoever, because I know that there are some people who say, Rux, I don't care. This can be a time when you receive some really good news from a lawyer or a legal advisor, or an advisor on matters connected with academia or higher education. My dear Libras, Libra suns, and Libra risings, 31st of August. 3 days before, 3 days after. This full moon in Pisces activates your axis of health and service. You are either completing a project work-wise, and you're doing so beautifully. It almost feels like it's something that has been plaguing you for quite some time, maybe something that has been consuming you for quite some time. It could be something that you started working on around the 20th of February, or something that has been on your radar since the 20th of February. Some of you could be offered a very good job, a job that maybe brings with it the promise of bonus or stocks or shares or something of this nature. This could also be a time when you are bringing to a close a health-related issue, and you finally feel recovered and healed, and things are falling into place very nicely. So crisis averted. This can also be a time when you have an aha moment as to what emotional issue has been causing challenges from a health-related perspective, maybe even when it comes to your physical health, because life doesn't happen in a vacuum, and what we go through emotionally definitely impacts our bodies. Definitely, and there are countless studies to show that this is actually this is true. This can be a time when someone leaves your team at work, but I don't believe you're suffering. I don't believe you're sad about it. On the contrary, it almost feels like if someone is leaving your team at work, maybe you're going to have the possibility to be more autonomous, to be more creative, to do things your own way. I wanna say, if you have been putting effort into improving your health, you're probably gonna see the results, my dear Libras. Especially if you've started doing this around February of this year. Even though the results maybe came a little bit later than you thought they would come, here they are, and you're probably going to congratulate yourselves, Libras, for trusting the process. Scorpios, Scorpio suns and Scorpio risings. 31st of August, 3 days before, 3 days after, the full moon in Pisces activates your 5th house, 11th house axis. Oh, Scorpios. Some of you might hear news of pregnancy. Some of you may hear that you are pregnant, or that your partner is pregnant. I feel like there's a lot of love between you and a romantic partner around this time. If you're not with someone, then you are likely to connect with someone who can turn into a long-term partner for you, my dear Scorpios. If you are already seeing someone, it may feel like The love is somehow kind of like growing and expanding between the two of you. There's a sense of being able to be more open and more vulnerable, and to really allow things to flow in your relationship. Your partner could have some sort of a romantic surprise for you, and maybe also something that involves sharing some piece of news or sharing a moment with friends and with important people in your lives. I do recommend going out. I do recommend having fun. I do recommend celebrating life around this time, my dear Scorpios, especially with loved ones and with people who fill you up with joy. This can also be a time when you celebrate something together with your partner when it comes to children. So maybe your child has some sort of a success, some sort of a win on a personal level, and it is a reason for celebration. This can also be a time when you have a little bit of an aha moment as to what really makes you happy, and you could communicate this to your partner, and maybe you agree on doing more of this in the future. My dear Sagittarius, Sagittarius suns and Sagittarius risings. 31st of August, 3 days before, 3 days after, the full moon in Pisces activates your house of home, as well as your public career sector. Some of you could be moving into a home around this time, or you could find your home, or you could feel like you've struck gold when it comes to a property in some shape or form. Some of you could be completing some sort of work on the home and really feeling like, okay, we can relax, we can enjoy ourselves in the home, we can enjoy ourselves together with family. You could be celebrating something with family, I want to say, and you could be feeling the need to really spend time with loved ones, with your family members. I feel like if you've been doing any sort of work on the home or from home or together with a family member, the result is really, really good at this point in time. You could also, around this time, maybe make some sort of a public announcement to the world on a matter connected with your home life and private life. And that is probably going to impact the way that you work on a day-to-day basis. But you seem to be very happy about all of this because it's probably something very good. It's probably some sort of like auspicious news. But indeed, you may need to kind of like revisit your day-to-day kind of like schedule, your day-to-day set of tasks, because something is potentially shifting professionally, I want to say. You could be finally also feel prepared to prioritize a home or a real estate related matter, and as a result, you could let your coworkers, your boss know, you know what, I'm taking some time off. I really need to, sell this property or focus on, getting a mortgage and so on. Parents could also have some good news connected with their work, which is very, very possible. Maybe it's news that you've been waiting for, but now it's finally making its way to you. My dear Capricorns, Capricorn suns, and Capricorn risings. This full moon on the 31st of August, 3 days before, 3 days after, that's when it's active, is activating your axis of learning and traveling. Some of you could be traveling short distance, maybe going on a city break or going away for the weekend, or planning a getaway for the weekend. Some of you could be passing an exam. So if you do have any sort of exams that you need to pass, you're probably going to pass them. Maybe it's something that you did not pass a while ago, or that you postponed, or that you kind of like thought, oh, I'm not ready, I'm not prepared. You are prepared. You know what you're talking about. You know your stuff. So you're probably going to get, an A, or whatever grade you need to get to pass. This could also be a time when you sell a car. it's possible, or when you purchase a car, or when you fix a car, I wanna say, it can be a time when you wrap something up in terms of writing. So if you've been writing a presentation, a thesis, a book, you could feel very happy with the result, even though you've been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This can also be a time when you finalize a course, maybe a course that was somehow connected with your passions and hobbies, and you're very, very excited for this. Maybe you had your doubts. Maybe you went kind of like back and forth in terms of, I don't know, like handing in the final homework or presentation. And once you do that, you're like, this is great. I managed to wrap this. I managed to wrap this up. My dear Aquarius, Aquarius suns and Aquarius risings. This full moon activates on the 31st of August. So active 3 days before, 3 days after. It activates your financial axis. You are getting paid, Aquarius. So brace yourselves, because the money is coming in. If you are waiting on news regarding a raise, if you are waiting for a supplier to pay you, if you are waiting for a source of income to materialize, to crystallize, the answer is yes, it's happening, and you are very happy about it. This can also be the time when you purchase something major, something significant for the house, for the home, for your family. And even if it's a significant expense, you're probably very happy because you have the money to pay for it, and it is something that you've been meaning to purchase for quite some time. It could also be something that you finally decide to purchase for the home together with a partner. So maybe you've been having a lot of back and forth together with your partner. Should we get this? Should we get that? Should we buy, I don't know, like this sofa, or should we order custom made furniture? And you're finally kind of like going for it, I'd say. You also seem to be feeling very, I'm going to put it out there, you seem to be feeling very appreciated by a family member around this time, my dear Aquarius, especially Aquarius risings. And it's really something that fills you up on an emotional level, maybe because you did not receive this sense of appreciation earlier in your life, even though you maybe craved for it, but now you're getting it. And they say better late than never, because it is true. My dear Pisces, Pisces suns and Pisces risings. Of course, you are the stars, obviously, of this full moon, because the full moon is happening in your sign. So the spotlight is being placed on you. Look back at what you were doing with your lives, at what was going on a personal level in terms of your physical body, appearance, looks, but also self-development and self-growth. Self-growth, is that a thing? Personal growth. Look back at what was going on in your lives, Pisces, around the 20th of February, because this full moon is probably going to bring with it a culminating point in terms of your self-development, in terms of your personal growth. You might finally see the results of some of the efforts that you've been making when it comes to your physical body, when it comes to your health, when it comes to taking care of yourselves. It could feel like you finally understood yourselves at a deeper level. It could feel like you finally understood what is really, really important for you in relationships and in partnerships. You could also communicate to the outside world something very important that has to do with your life direction. You could also communicate this to a romantic partner. So you could share with your partner something that you've been ruminating on, or something that you've been sitting with for quite some time when it comes to, for instance, your professional path. So you might say to them, listen, I'm gonna start learning code. And whatever it is that you need to communicate to the partner about yourselves, Pisces, I can tell you this, they're probably going to be very supportive, even if maybe in the past they didn't understand you, or they weren't necessarily very open to what you had to communicate. Now it feels like they're getting it. They're getting where you are coming from. This can also be the time when you finally decide to enter into some form of a partnership, to start maybe collaborating with someone, maybe a teacher, a guide, a mentor, or an advisor, or a counselor, or a therapist of some sorts. And it feels very, very good. It feels very empowering. This can also feel like a time when you are releasing something that was holding you back on a personal level in terms of interactions with others. So maybe like a personal blockage, a personal kind of like fear, or a personal doubt. It could feel like you have a lot of compassion for yourselves, and that is likely to result in you having better relationships with everyone else, I'd say. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in for this update. Please let us know in the comments how the full moon goes for you. I like this full moon. Good results, great results, auspicious results, delayed results. Maybe we were waiting on them for quite some time, and now they're finally knocking at our door and saying, yes, here is the envelope with the piece of paper that you've been waiting for. Also, don't forget that if you want to work with me, you can find me on my website, which is writteninthestars-astrology.com. If my content is in any shape or form useful, please also hit the subscribe button. And I would super appreciate if you could make a donation using the thanks button underneath this video. It's a button that is embedded into the YouTube platform. Any donation is something that I'm very, very grateful for, because it shows me that what I do here is helpful. It shows me that the work that I do here for you folks matters, or makes a difference, so to speak. Thank you, and I will see you next time. Bye.